Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. For us, it is morning. Oh, no, it's not. It's afternoon. My bad. For us, it's afternoon. So good afternoon. And happy Autism Acceptance Day. Okay. It is April 2nd. I'm excited about this episode because today's episode,
Yeah, me too.
are going to be talking about what to say and what not to say when your friend tells you that they're autistic. And today I have my friend with me back again, Lex.
Yeah. Hi.
But yeah, today I have back again my friend Lex, and like I said, we're going to be talking about what to say and what not to say. If your friend, your loved one, whomever comes up to you and says, I got diagnosed, I'm autistic, or I might be autistic, or whatever. Okay, and the reason why we're talking about this topic, first off, let me shout out my friend, because this topic was inspired by one of my friends on social media. Well, he doesn't know he's my friend yet, but I watch him all the time. Okay, his name's JusShae, and I will put his information in the description. It was inspired by one of his videos, and he did speak on the same thing, what to say and what not to say. So this was inspired by him, but of course we have a lot more time than he had in his reel, so we can talk about it a little bit more. We can deep dive into it, okay? And Lex and I are the experts on this. My friend Lex is autistic. When were you diagnosed, Lex?
Yeah.
Don't mind sharing that with us.
I was 28 when I found out I was autistic. So 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years ago. And also, something you guys don't know about me is I was also diagnosed 2 years ago. So autistic. Now, I don't have any levels or anything like that because I didn't feel the need to do the further testing. I just didn't. So I know it's weird. A lot of people say, well, why didn't you? So I didn't know more, but I didn't think I needed to know more. I'm an adult now. Did you feel that way too?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about like going back and like getting more information and getting a level and stuff, but I don't think I would do that. Maybe if my support needs change as I get older, if I find that I'm struggling and I would need to possibly in order to qualify for like disability type benefits, you might need a level and like, so in the meantime, I don't feel like that's something I need to do. It would be like very expensive to go for more testing.
That part.
So it's not accessible to me.
That part. Because right now I only have
VA
insurance. That's it. I only have VA insurance. And listen, I'll tell y'all more about that later, me getting diagnosed, because I was in the military still when I got diagnosed. And it was hard. Okay. It actually had to come out of my pocket, but you're going to hear about that later. But anyways, so before we get into this, start talking about this topic, I would like to tell a little bit more about my story, about my diagnosis, and why I didn't say anything until now. So we'll start off by saying a couple of years ago, I started having some mental health issues, and that were becoming very visible, as in I was having what people were saying were panic attacks in public. And now I know they were meltdowns. They didn't look the same as panic attacks. And then also I got misdiagnosed with asthma and all other kinds of things, saying I was having an asthma attack. But that was happening to me, okay? And also at the time I was trying to date. I was trying to find my wife, okay? I was dating, but it was very hard because and I think you guys heard this before. The girl I was dating at the time, she said that I was very cold and flat, and that I wasn't open. I would never open up to her. And I thought I was, you know what I'm saying? I told her a lot of stuff about me, but except for my feelings, because I didn't know what they were. I didn't know that they were, okay? And now I can admit that back then I was like, maybe you just don't understand me, back then. But now I'm like, girl, you really didn't know what was going on with your feelings. I still struggle with them. After I downloaded that app you told me about from the last episode.
Oh, the Mood Flow app?
Yes. And that app, it helps me. I can actually go back and look at it and be like, oh, you were feeling like this. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. So that's what I was doing. And I eventually went to therapy. I started seeking help from the professionals. Like, look, I need to, because right now I'm not functioning. I didn't think I was functioning appropriately. And I didn't like that. So I went to the therapy and I started talking to my therapist. Very good, by the way, therapy. I'm all for it. But I started talking to her and she just was listening at first, didn't say anything, didn't give me any advice for like 3 weeks. All she did was listen. And then finally one day she spoke and I was like, oh, she spoke and she said, have you ever been tested for autism spectrum disorder? And I was like, no. I was like, well, my son's autistic. I started talking about him and she said, stop, I'm talking about you right now. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, I haven't been. And she was like, I have a list of stuff that you've been saying for about 3 weeks, and it is matching up what I think. I'm not an expert. Now I want to send you to the experts. And that's what happened. So she sent me to the experts. I jumped through the hoops, finally got to the experts, and they did diagnose me there. But like I said, I didn't get levels or anything like that. They asked me if I wanted to continue, and I said no. I said, no, thank you. I'm going to do what the information that I have now, I'm going to try to process and continue with my life. So that's what I did. But then, oh, yeah, at the time I was in a relationship that I got diagnosed. So I had a person. And of course, the first thing I want to do is tell her. I told her, okay? And the things that she said made me feel so terrible. I didn't tell anybody else for 2 more years. I didn't tell anybody else. Now I ain't gonna blast her or nothing because she didn't know. She didn't know what to say. But
Mm.
some of the things she said, first off, she said, you don't look autistic. That made me feel terrible. And that made me feel offended for myself and for Stacy. Like, what do autistic people look like, girl? Like, you want me to be drooling? Like, what?
Yeah, seriously.
Right. And then she also said, they probably wrong. You know how to drive. You got your diploma, etc. You raise kids, etc. She said all that. That also offended me. And then she said a lot of other things that I don't want to repeat.
Yeah.
They were so bad. But those are the main
Wow.
things that people normally say. And honestly, like here and there I told other people, and obviously my sister Nia, she was very she actually didn't say much of anything, and I think it's because she didn't know what to say. And but to me, like, that was fine. That was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine for me too. I'd rather a lack of response or someone at that point try to inquire more. Like, okay, can you tell me more about that? Or what does that mean for you? Like, what does being autistic look like for you? Um, or just, don't respond and let the person
Right.
share more because saying the wrong thing can be a lot worse than just not really saying nothing at all.
Yes, and as you can see, it was damaging to me, so much so
Yeah.
that all nobody really knew for 2 more years. So much so. And I wish I could have like told them, but in my mind, I was like, what if they say something I don't like again? What if that happens again? So I had that fear. So I didn't tell anybody else, but it would have been nice to tell somebody so they understand, some of the things that I do.
Right. Yeah, even when you actually first disclosed it to me, I wasn't surprised because I always did wonder that about you, just because I understand in a lot of ways it's hereditary. I saw
Mhm.
um how in tune with Stacy you were, and it made me wonder. But then that made me sad when I realized that you did know that entire time you were running Stacy's channel, but didn't disclose it because obviously that was affecting you deeply if you withheld that information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then also one of my friends said it on social media too. She was a content creator. Her daughter is autistic and has an intellectual disability. But anyway, she said it too. And then social media bashed her. They bashed her. They was like, why you me tooing? Why you trying to take your daughter's light? All this kind of stuff. But she just wanted to
Oh
share.
my God.
So after I saw that, I was like, no, I'm dang on sure not saying nothing. but now I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what I want to say now. I feel free.
Yeah, I'm honored to be a part of this.
Thank you. I feel so free. It was like when I came out too as gay. It was like that. Now I feel so free. Like you guys know.
I love that for you.
Thank
I
you.
really love that for you. And I'm so happy to be a part of this little special moment.
Thank you. And you know what? You said something a minute ago that is like on the list. So you said that you were kind of wondering if I was already. And I feel like that's okay to say. I feel like that is one of
Right.
the things that make me feel you see me. You see me.
Yeah.
Okay. And only one of my friends did not offend me when I told them. And I already told her about this episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and shout her out. She's gonna start vlogging soon. So look out for that. Her name is Shauna. And we were in the military together. But I told her recently, and it's kind of funny, but she was like, I goddamn knew it, bitch. She was like, I knew it.
That's
She
such a
said that makes
validating
so much
response.
sense. Yes, she was like, that
That's the
makes
most
so much sense.
that's the most validating response I've ever seen. Like I've had a few people that were pretty much like, especially even when I was just first starting the question, they were just like, well, yeah, I've always seen that, or like that makes sense, that checks out. And that's just so affirming.
Yes.
People, I feel like people are afraid to say that. They think it's offensive, but that's because people have this warped view about what autism means. It's not something to, be afraid of. It's not like a terminal illness. It's just, for a lot of us, finding that answer out is liberating because we've gone through life knowing that we're different. Like choosing to withhold the label from your kid is only going to do them harm because we can tell that we're different anyway. Life and people already clock us as different. We just get labeled as like weird or rude or whatever. And so finally having those answers and then being able to find other people who see you, it's so liberating.
It sure is. It's funny you say that because I always talk about like when you hear me talking on my live streams and stuff, I always say, back in the day, people just thought I was weird. I was weird, different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially than all my siblings. I was just weird, different, very. But anyways, let's get into this, girl, because I could talk about this all day. Now that I actually said it, I said it. Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's talk about this. So I have an article that I got from Autistic Women and Non-Binary Network. This article is by Lydia Brown, 15 Things You Should Never Say to an Autistic Person. So number one
Yeah.
says, so is that like being retarded? Is that like being retarded? Obviously, for me,
Ugh.
our word is a no. The R word
Hard
is
no.
no go.
Don't.
You do not say that.
Yeah. I don't use that word and I don't hang out with people who use that word.
Mm-mm. It's not even in the vocabulary anymore. They say intellectual disability now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a no for me. Don't say that, all right? It's offensive. Number two, you should be very proud of yourself. You seem so normal. I couldn't tell that you're autistic.
No, I don't like that. You seem so normal because again, that like circles back to, so what are you saying that you think autism is?
It's a spectrum. Everybody different. There's no norm with it. Everybody's different. So as you can see, my son Stacy, he's 19, nonverbal, he doesn't speak, and then he needs help with some things. Me, on the other hand, I am verbal. I need a little less help with things, but mine is more social. I do actually struggle with words, but I just practice so much, it doesn't really look like it. I just practice. I practice all the time. Okay, I admit it. I talk to myself to practice. Yes, talk to myself all the time. And then I answer myself too. So I know how to interact with people.
Yeah, me too. I'm always scripting out like entire conversations with myself. I practice my faces in the mirror too.
I have never thought to do that. But yeah, don't say that. Don't say that. It's offensive. All right, we both
Yeah.
agree. And if there are autistic adults or even autistic teenagers watching this, tell us in the comments too if you agree or disagree with this stuff, because we just want to raise the acceptance. You know what I'm saying? So if your person comes to you and say they're autistic, you might be able to use this to gauge what
Yeah.
you should and should not say. And it's okay not to say anything if you don't know what to say. It's okay. It is okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, you must be very high functioning.
I hate that one because for me, what that meant, because first of all, I am not even like high functioning. Not that functioning labels even have any merit, but like I realize what people mean by that is that like I can use the bathroom by myself, I can speak, I can feed myself, but like there's a lot of other areas of life I am not functioning in like at all. Um, but for a lot of us, high functioning is more high masking. Like you don't see our autistic experience, but we feel it and it's there. We're just masking it because
Uh-huh.
we have low enough support needs that we're able to mask it, but not all autistic people can even mask.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're not high functioning. We're high masking. And for the most part, women are high masking. I don't see as much the males masking or even trying to.
I think that part of that is because of the differences in how males and females are socialized. Um, but and there's probably multiple reasons for that. But I think socialization is in some way like part of it.
Yeah. Number 4, you're not like my child. You can write a blog post. My child would never be able to write a blog post. I've actually never heard that. What do you think about that one?
That I mean, I haven't personally been told variations of that, but I've heard a lot of people say that they've heard things like that. Like, well, you're not like my, insert nonverbal 7-year-old boy here,
Mm,
relative. Like, it's a spectrum. So obviously I'm not like whoever you're talking about, autistic people, ultimately, autistic traits are human traits. It's just that they occur, with a certain frequency and severity that qualifies it as being autism. But we're all human beings. And so if you know one autistic person, you just know one autistic person.
I can see.
Everyone is going to be different.
Yeah, I can see how that would be offensive to comparing. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. But like I said, I've only told a couple of people, so I haven't been compared to anybody. But apparently, it happens. Try not to do that.
Yeah.
Number 5, I know a kid whose autism is really severe. You don't seem like him. That's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Number 6 is hilarious. Did you read this?
Yeah. But I don't remember off the top of my head what number 6 is.
Number 6, can you have sex? What the hell? Why are people asking this?
Oh yeah, oh my gosh. Right? I hate that people's minds go to that. I mean, I guess it's a valid thing to wonder, but that's crazy to ask somebody.
I mean, I process differently. I still know how to use my parts. What? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of autistic people that are like asexual, which is a whole different conversation. But like that's just so crazy that people even ask that, especially now that we're becoming more aware of the genetic component. Like, how do you think that we continue to get here?
Because we out in these streets, okay? Out in these streets. That's why. What you think? Because
Yeah.
out in these streets, people have an autistic kids, okay? Oh, Shaden said that too. Shaden
Right.
was like, it's hereditary. I
We
think my
come from
grandma's
somewhere.
autistic. Remember that? He said, my grandma won't admit it, but I think she is. You go ahead, Shaden.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Number
Yeah.
7. Number 7.
That's
Does
so
that
funny.
mean you're really good at math / computers / numbers? Huh? Question mark.
They're talking about the savant stereotype, like the Big Bang Theory Sheldon type thing.
Oh,
But again, not
Sheldon's
everyone
autistic.
is a savant. What?
Sheldon's autistic.
They don't outright say it. I think because when they outright say it, the character is autistic coded, then you can't bully that character for their traits.
Oh,
But that's an aside. They don't outwardly say it, but I mean, there's a lot of speculation about his behaviors and how they fit the criteria.
and he's super smart, so they're assuming every autistic person is good with numbers. Let's see right here. Asking, it says asking if we like math, computers, or numbers because we're autistic is like asking a black person if he or she likes watermelons or rap music because they're black. Oh snap! Oh snap! She
That's
said that.
that's great.
She said that.
That's,
Like, you
that's
want some
crazy.
fried chicken?
Damn,
Girl, okay, I get you. I see what you did there.
that's crazy.
I hope she watched this. I see what you did there. That was good one. Okay,
That's so crazy.
right. Number 8, but you're married, but you have a job, but you go to college. You couldn't do that if you were really autistic.
I mean, I feel like some of these are very similar to each other. And again, it comes back to people's misconceptions about what autism is in the first place, because plenty of people that are autistic are able to do those things.
Hmm.
Like again, it's a spectrum.
Yeah, that's facts. I'm gonna skip a couple of these because, like you said, they're the same. Um, and then one of them says, talks about the stimming, like asking an autistic person, can you stop doing that? But we're just talking about when they first tell you. We're talking about that.
Imagine you share that you are, and they're just like, can you stop being that? Can you stop it?
Right. Can you just not? Hey friend, I just want to let you know I'm autistic. Okay, can you not? Can you not be? I can I
Can
can
you
see that.
stop?
Could you not? I can see that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, the next one. What is it like to be autistic? Now, this is on a list of saying what you shouldn't say, but I actually don't mind this one.
I personally don't mind that one. I think that's a good question because it shows that maybe the person doesn't know, but they're asking me instead of leading with assumptions. Like the issue with a lot of those responses is that they lead with assumptions, where this one, instead of doing that, is asking for more information, which I think is a great way to respond, especially if you don't otherwise know how to respond.
Hmm, yeah, I agree. I don't mind this one. I think um maybe it offended her or them. Maybe it offended Lydia. So you just don't know. But
Yeah.
I don't mind this one because I it makes it feel like you still see me and you want to know more. For me. Mm,
Yeah.
and then the rest of them are just like comparing you to another famous autistic person or something like that, but we already went over that. Okay, so this article, the next article I found pretty much says what to say instead. What's like something safe you can say that won't offend anybody or make them feel, bad. This article is by The Mighty. I don't see the author because I wasn't able to pull it up fully. But I just got the
Mm.
last 3 things. But anyways, so it says number 1, say this instead. Number 1, thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah, I think that's a good response.
Because it shows that you appreciate it because look what happened to me. I didn't want to share with anybody. So it could be hard.
Mhm.
It could be hard.
Yeah,
Number 2, I don't know much about autism. Can you explain what it is to me?
I think that's good too.
I agree. I agree. You see us, you know, you see us. I like it.
Yeah,
Number 3, how do you experience ASD? Ooh, that's a good one.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I could talk for a long time if you ask me that. Long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any to add to this list?
I mean, I really actually I like that last one a lot. I think that I would love to receive that response, especially if it's someone who doesn't understand. Like if I'm telling someone else who, is autistic or even is neurodivergent and might be aware, then I'm more expecting them to to give me like replies like, "Oh, okay," like I don't know. The response is kind of different usually, like when you're telling people who are neurotypical or assumed to be neurotypical versus other friends like within these spaces. But ultimately, I think that when you're figuring out what to say, a lot of it can um, kind of come down to, for me, like I hate feeling invalidated. Like it's very triggering to me when someone responds to me sharing that and their first instinct is to try to invalidate me and tell me that I can't possibly be. Like that's very offensive and hurtful to me. And so um I like to be met with understanding and acceptance or curiosity, if not that.
I agree. And then something I didn't see on the list of things, not to say because I think it doesn't offend some people and it does offend some people. I've heard another friend of mine say it does offend them, but to me, it doesn't offend me. But that wasn't on the list. I think we're all a little autistic. I've heard a lot of neurotypical people say that. And to me, I feel like you're trying to relate to me. That's why you're saying that. That's what I feel like. But for some people, it is offensive.
Yeah, I mean that is it's offensive to me too, just because it is incorrect also, and that just perpetuates misconceptions. Like we are not all a little bit autistic because the autism spectrum is not a linear line. It's more of like a wheel graph, and holistic people are not on it. Only autistic people are on that spectrum. And so, in addition to it feeling like invalidating, it's also incorrect. And it shows me they don't know what they're talking about if they say that.
Mm. Yeah, my other friend said it. You either are autistic or you're not. Nobody is a little. That's how they felt. It also made it feel like the person kind of stole their shine because now
Yeah.
they were talking about
Yeah.
them.
I saw someone use the comparison of like pregnancy. Like, you're not a little bit pregnant or a lot of bit pregnant. You either are or you aren't. A kind of the same concept with autism. You either are or you aren't. Like, yes, there are people who are more affected by their autism than those with lower support needs, but ultimately, all autistic people are equally autistic.
Hmm. I think some people confuse like some of their traits because I mean, obviously, autistic people have traits that neurotypical people have. Like you can be neurotypical and have social anxiety. You can be neurotypical and what I'm saying, be what do you call it? An introvert. You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and again, this is part of why I like to share and help educate because there's a lot of confusion and people don't know a lot of misconceptions. But ultimately, all autistic traits are human traits. The thing is, it's about the frequency at which they occur, the severity at which they occur, and how disabling it is. And to as far as impairing our functioning, it has to affect us in social and communication or in restrictive and repetitive behaviors. And I like the example I've seen that everybody pees, but if you're peeing 60 times a day, you might have an overactive bladder. It's kind of the same concept.
Mhm.
All humans are susceptible to these traits, but if you are experiencing enough of them and enough of them combined at a certain frequency and severity, then you might qualify, for a diagnosis.
Very well said. Well, okay, we are back, and now it's time for the part of the podcast where we just wrap up, give you a last little bit of advice.
My last little nugget is to approach someone with understanding. And if you don't have enough education about autism to approach with understanding, then approach with curiosity. Because for me, the worst has been being met with invalidation and someone who seems like they don't want to believe that that's true about me. And that's very triggering. So ultimately, try not to make someone feel like you think you know their brain better than they do, because if they're coming to you with this, chances are they've already done enough research, even if they haven't gotten a diagnosis yet. They've likely already done enough research that they know enough where they reached this point and now they're coming to you with this, and it's unhelpful to hear that you think they're wrong, and for them to feel like you don't want to believe that that's true about them, because for me that's offensive. Because why do you have more of a problem with the idea of me being autistic than I do? Because I've accepted it.
Mhm.
And to plug my social media, I am on Instagram at underscore lucid circles underscore. I'm not going to say the other
Don't do
end.
it. Don't do it.
But feel free to reach out to me to talk about anything to do with autism, neurodivergence. I'm always happy to talk about that stuff and help anybody in any ways that I can.
Mhm. Absolutely. Thank you, Lex. And my last little nugget, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to the moms because I haven't yet. And you know me, I love talking to the moms. I'm gonna talk to the moms because my mom is a perfect example of what you should say and not say if your child comes to you as an adult and says, this is what it is. I got tested, I'm autistic. Now, my mother, she didn't say much, but I did ask her, how come she didn't know? And her response was, well, I didn't know anything about autism at the time. If I did, obviously I would have done something, got you tested, whatever the case may be. And then she apologized. And then we left it at that. Okay. That is a good example of something you could, because I'm sure they're going to come with questions too, you know, all their life, all my life. That's what I felt like. Like she probably didn't care. In all reality, she just didn't know. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to
Yeah.
moms. If your child comes to you, your adult child, your teenage child, whatever, just please, the worst thing you could do is get offended. Please don't get offended. It could cause a fight, and you don't want that. Just listen, first of all. And like I said, like we both said, if you don't know what to say, it's okay to not say nothing. It's okay to not say anything until later. Process it and then come back. And you can say, you know, what you think you should say is definitely okay. Stop, think, do. Okay. Nashira would be proud of me for that one. My therapist would be proud of me for that. Stop, think, and then do or say the right thing. Okay. You don't have to say something right away. That's it. And that's
Yeah.
all. Okay. Thank y'all again for tuning in to this very special episode of the podcast. Once again, happy Autism Acceptance Day. Because we don't say autism
Yeah.
aware, because we're aware already. Now we got to accept, honey. Now we have to
Yes.
accept. Okay. So happy day to y'all. And y'all have a great day.
Happy day.
Please feel free to be in the comments. And look, don't be weird now that y'all know this. Don't be weird. I'm still me. I'm still Shay. Okay. Autistic Shay is not different. I'm still the same Shay that y'all know. Now y'all just know, you know, I'm autistic. So don't be weird. Don't treat me differently. You can still talk to me the same. All of that stuff. I haven't changed. Okay. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.
Fun, fun, fun.